Hi dancers, welcome back to my channel. I'm Claudia Dean and today I'm here with Louise from Pondera. You probably recognize Louise from my previous videos where we did the ultimate pre-point assessment guide. So I've joined her here today to talk about breathing whilst dancing. It's a very important topic, so we're going to run through how you can breathe correctly when you dance, what are some exercises you can do, why we need to breathe when we dance, and the benefits of breathing whilst dancing. Which seem pretty obvious. And actually, breathing while dancing, I mean, you've got to breathe every day of our lives, but I guess there are particular types and ways of breathing when you're dancing. So we're going to chat through that with Louise today.
Sounds great. Let's get started. So we'll start from head to toe. So firstly, we'll talk about apical breathing, which just refers to breathing from the top part of your lungs. So that means that muscles in your neck actually lift your lungs up to put more air into your lungs. And we usually start breathing apically when we're really puffed. So when we're going for a jog or if we're doing grundolegro. If we try and do this with our mouth open, so Claudia, just try and breathe through your mouth or breathe through your mouth with your mouth open. Yeah, so you can see Claudia's chest is lifting up, and sometimes we start using these muscles here as well, and you can see people doing that. Yeah, maybe after a really big grundolegro solo.
Or a big dance or solo or something, yeah.
The second way I'm going to talk about is bibasal breathing or lateral breathing, and this is probably the most efficient way to breathe most of the time when you're dancing. So it allows lots of oxygen to come into the lower part of our rib cage.
And this is the part where most teachers say, breathe through your lungs, breathe through the ribs or rib cage, because I've been told that a lot as a dancer, but then sometimes I kind of go, but how do I do that? You know, I feel like there's obviously specific ways in mastering that, and obviously you're going to teach us that today. So is that the area that you're referring to? If a teacher does say to you, breathe through your rib cage, you're talking about this?
Yeah, absolutely. The third one is abdominal breathing. So this is a breathing technique that we use a lot maybe in yoga or for singing. So it's when the abdomen actually is released and lets our diaphragm drop down, and that means that air can go into our lungs. So there are different types of breathing strategies we can tap into for different parts of our dancing.
Would you say that the rib cage breathing is probably the most, as you said, efficient for dancing? So that's one we should probably rely off the most?
I think it's a good place to start, and it's really important to know how to do that. I think a lot of young dancers have a bit of trouble picking up that corrections, because your rib cage goes from here to here. So breathing through your ribs could mean breathing up here, or breathing through your ribs could mean breathing down here. So it's important to know the difference.
So if you have a exam or solo or even in class and you want to improve your breathing so your stamina does last longer, then I think it's really important that you listen to these exercises that Louise is about to give me.
Great, let's go. So Claudia, you're going to be my patient today. So I'll get you to lie down on your back for me with your knees bent up. Okay. Fantastic. And so Claudia, we can see her rib cage nicely. We'll try the first one first, Claudia. So if you open your mouth and try and breathe so that you're lifting up, so we can see that everything's going here. And you can see that her collarbones are lifting up and her neck muscles are active. And this is a good way to breathe if we really need extra oxygen, but it's not a great way to breathe all the time. Okay, so secondly, I'll get Claudia to try and feel as though you're breathing. So if I put one hand on the side of Claudia's rib cage and then one on the top of Claudia's rib cage, and feel as though you're breathing into this hand, Claudia. So you're pushing that, and you can feel this part of your rib cage is sliding underneath my hand, and come back in. Good. And again, breathing in and back in. Just have a quiet breath there. So the most efficient way to do this would be to use your nose. So close your mouth and try and breathe through your nose, and that will help to feel like you're channeling the air into the right areas. So then you can self-test. So Claudia, if you put your hand on the top of your rib cage and your second hand on the side, and so then you can do the same for yourself and feel like you're expanding into this hand. Good. And we want to feel like this part of your belly is nice and relaxed. But then it's also really easy if you're breathing like this to switch your lower abdominal muscles on.
So, Louise, when would I do this in class? Is this like from the beginning from plies? Or are you thinking, you know, center practice when we finish the bar? Would this be a good chance to do it? Or are you thinking like when we do puffy exercises like grand allegro, are you sort of saying we got to do this pretty much all the time in ballet class?
Yeah, I think it's really important to be thinking about that, especially if you are feeling like you're getting out of breath or you're holding extra tension in your neck. Sometimes it can be because you're trying to breathe through your neck as well. So maybe bring your attention back to your breathing. And I would say to start thinking about how you're breathing before class starts. So have a lie down on the floor, and if you're still trying to learn how to breathe this way, practice like this, and then eventually it will transition into your exercises.
Because I haven't done this with you before, so the first go, it sort of takes a little bit of time, I guess, to kind of feel exactly what you're saying, but now after like the 6th breath I can feel it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can get a friend or your teacher to help you check as well, so just to double check that you're not using your belly or too much up here. It's quite a relaxing exercise to do as well, so you can also bring your attention back to your breathing at the end of a class to wind down a little bit. Yeah.
And I guess you can swap hands and check the other page. Yeah, of course.
They'll probably move together.
Yeah, got it.
So then the third type of breathing I'm going to run through as well is not incorrect, and it's also a really good way to get extra air in if you're doing a really challenging solo. It's just maybe not as aesthetically pleasing for dancers. So we like to feel as though we're lifted up and we're held through our abdominals, whereas this kind of breathing is more about releasing the abdominals and letting them hang out a little bit so that we can get more air in. So this one's actually easier to do on all fours. So I'll get you to flip onto all fours. Thanks, Claudia.
Okay.
Nice. Lovely position. So Claudia's elbows are nice and relaxed, and she's got a 90-degree angle at her hips. And I'll get you just to lower through there a little bit. And so what I'm going to do is place my hand under Claudia's belly button, and then I just want her to feel like she's letting her abs go into my belly button. Beautiful. Does that feel like the air is going down further now,
yes.
Claudia?
Yeah, it
and
does.
Come back. So then she's engaging her abdominals to push the air back out. So she's letting her diaphragm, which sits underneath her rib cage, drop down, and air's rushing in, and then it lifts up as the air rushes out. And again, lovely. This is actually, have a relax. This is actually really hard for dancers who've been dancing for a long time to do. And often I'll run through this with dancers who are having trouble with maybe upper back pain to try and let some of those muscles go, because we get so used to holding this and using the lateral way of breathing that it's really hard to
let go of.
Yeah, to think about a different way.
I've always found, actually, I have a lot of students show me this too, but I've always found it really easy to stick out this area. I don't know whether it's like a strength thing, but yeah, I can always let my tummy go like a lot. I mean, obviously I'm strong through here,
but I think
is that the reason why?
Yeah, it's an indication that you're really good at dissociating and separating activity of different muscles.
I always wondered why I could do that, actually, so thanks for that.
It's a good thing, and it's good to be able to do both, I think. Going back to all fours, and we'll actually, so now we'll try something a bit tricky. So we're going to try 2 breaths where you let go through your abdominals, and then 2 breaths where you breathe in sideways. So we'll start with sideways breathing first, because you're pretty good at that.
Got it.
So if I place my hands here and here and breathing in through the side and back in, and you'll notice Claudia's not letting that go through there. Good. And then 2 breaths into your belly. Lovely. Cool. So yeah, you can always have a friend check and help you to feel whether you're doing the right thing.
Now dancers, we thought it would be a good idea to show you me basically demonstrating this at the bar, doing a plie and showing you all 3 different techniques of breathing, and you can obviously see which one's going to work the best. And I think that'd be a really good chance as well for Louise to guide me into what one I should be doing when I step onto the bar.
Okay, so now we're at the bar, and I'm going to ask Claudia to do her breathing arm as though she were about to start her plie exercise. So I'll just get her to go by herself, just as you normally would. So if you were doing and then I'll get you to do a plie in first position. Nice, okay. Come back to rubber. And then, so now I'd like you to think about opening your mouth and do your preparatory breath up through here. Yeah.
Not good.
No, it doesn't feel quite right, does
No.
it? It's not the right time to be using those muscles to breathe.
Definitely not.
No, and so now I'll get you to think about doing an abdominal breath. So can you relax it? Good. So when you do your preparatory breath, I'll get you to relax through there, Claudia. And plie.
Hurts.
Hurts. Yeah, like that's actually looking effortful. And it doesn't look that aesthetically pleasing.
No.
Yeah.
Nice.
You don't look like you've got good control over your core.
No.
So now I'll get you to try, Claudia, the lateral expansion. So breathing sideways through your nose. Yep. This probably feels more natural for Claudia. Yeah. So at the bar, that's probably the one that I would choose.
I definitely agree.
So now Claudia's going to try a little bit of pedi allegro, and she's going to apply her lateral breathing method. So the one we discussed at the bar. Yep. And then we'll see what happens.
Okay, so I'm going to do about 16.
Yes.
And I'm going to think about
Breathing
sideways.
through your ribs. Yep. So nice nose breathing. Great. Okay. So then now we notice, yes, even though Claudia is breathing through her rib cage, she's also starting to get a little bit of a lift through her collarbones, and that's normal. That's okay if you've been jumping or running and increasing your heart rate.
Got it. But if I was breathing like that, or when I was jumping, would that be a lot more?
It would be more fatiguing. It would
Got
make
it.
you more tired.
So basically,
Yeah.
breathing sideways, dancers, is the best way to breathe. Plies, jumps, grand allegro, whatever you're doing, the exercises that Louise went through with me, that's the best way to achieve that type of breathing.
It's definitely a good place to start, and if you're having trouble breathing and maintaining stamina through an exercise, to try and draw back to that kind of breathing.
So thank you for watching, dancers. I hope you loved having Louise on my channel and explaining exactly how to breathe correctly. So just make sure, comment below and let us know how you feel when you try those breathing exercises, and if you really have an understanding of it. If not, write what your concerns are and we will try and get back to you as soon as possible. And just so you know, Louise is from Pondera Physiotherapy, if you didn't already know that, as you can see from her shirt. And Pondera is a fantastic physiotherapy clinic in Brisbane, so I'd really recommend, if you're concerned about breathing or any other areas of your work, Louise will offer great expert advice for you. So thank you, Louise.
Thanks for having me, Claudia. It's always really good fun.
It is, isn't it? We have a good time. So don't forget to subscribe, dancers, and we'll see you in the next video.
See ya.